Can you just summarize what happened here tonight?
Yeah, so it was a public hearing. Obviously, we're proposing a sewer rate increase with the upcoming project that's proposed for the upgrade of the wastewater treatment plant. It's proposed to be about an $80 million project. In order to pay for that loan that we're proposing to take, we need to raise the rates in order to accommodate that loan payment.
So the rates are directly for the loan payment, not necessarily the actual renovations?
Right. The rates, we're going to borrow the money for the renovations, for the upgrades, and then we'll have to pay those back over a 30-year time frame. So we're increasing the rates at this point to cover those annual expenses.
What was the biggest takeaway from the public hearing today?
I was kind of hoping to get a few more people here, but from the comments that we had, obviously I think that getting some direction that we did have planned another presentation to the committee of the whole, and I think that it kind of reinforces the fact that I think we need to still provide that information out and why this project is needed. And then I think we'll get some additional direction from the council on what additional information that they want to hear, and then we'll start that way.
And it seemed like during the presentation that it was kind of, you're looking at maybe about $109, $110 or so typically for a residential bill. That's going to be the increase over a year period. Is that correct?
Right, annually. So you're looking at $25 to $26 per invoice or per bill that the utility gives you for this starting in 2019.
And then there's another increase planned in a couple of years too. Is that correct?
We're looking at depending on the actual borrowing that we're going to need to do for the project, we'll potentially have another rate increase over, sometime within the next 2 years, potentially up $3 to $4 a month. Yes.
So what's the next step for the sewer?
For right now, for the sewer, we're going to consolidate the comments that we had tonight. We're going to present them at November 6th at the Water Commission meeting. We're going to discuss those with the commission and the information that we had. I'm probably going to propose a schedule for some additional presentations and how we're going to work towards that. We do have the resolutions approved to submit our intent to apply this year for the loans, and what that is. And intent to apply, we have to apply 2 years in advance for the loan. And so this year, in 2018, this would be a loan for 2020. And what this does, if we apply before the end of the month, it reserves our right to apply for that much money. And so right now we're in preliminary design phase of the project. We are still in discussions with Marathon City and Edgar with regionalization. Those decisions haven't been made yet. And so all of that plays into a factor what the actual final cost of the project will be.
And then if, and this may be from the way too early department, but then if Marathon City and Edgar do join as well, would that change the rates, the residential rates that Wausau residents pay, or?
Not immediately. Down the road it will, though. Because obviously we're going to add to our user base. And so obviously there's a lot of work that would have to be done. We'd have to enter into agreements with Marathon City. We'd have to set timelines on when that wastewater would get conveyed to the city of Wausau, and then, when we would be accepting that wastewater. At this time, we have given them the expenses if they were to come in. The improvements that would be needed to accommodate their flows, they would have to pay for. So they would have to pay to convey it here, and then they would have to pay for any upgrades that were needed in our collection system or the treatment plant.
So when we talked to you, I think yesterday, I think Brian interviewed you, you had said that the last rate increase was 2011. When was the last time that the updates were made? I know Mayor Milky had kind of mentioned it, but if you could just kind of...
Yeah, it's been over 30 years. It was in the later 80s that the last significant upgrade to the treatment plant was done. The original treatment plant was constructed, I think, around 1940. Okay, so it's considerably old. But there's a lot of infrastructure there that's still viable and that we're going to utilize and make improvements that we'll be able to use moving forward. So it's very positive. There have been some questions coming up about regionalization, like let's say with Rib Mountain. Our treatment plant is designed on an average daily flow of about 8.4 million gallons a day to come in. Their treatment plant is about half that, about 4 million gallons a day. When we looked at the costs of doing that and regionalizing with them, of us conveying wastewater over there, our estimated costs were up around 140 million to do that. So they were significantly more than what it was to stay with our own treatment plant. Yep.
Anything else you'd like to add, or any questions we didn't ask?
Yeah, I think, any public comment, they can still provide written comments if they'd like. So, I mean, anything that we receive, we'll definitely put into the record for the November 6th meeting. We realize that this is a significant project. It's a multi-generational project. It's not just our generation, it's the generations moving forward. We are looking into the future, 40 to 50 years, so this is a big bite right now, but I think it's a positive move and a proactive move moving forward. So.